Today I'm here with Anica. We are together. That's so much better than to be one in a side of the screen and the other in the other. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, we're together, like in life.
So welcome to everyone who is listening to us. Today we're doing another episode of Dream Chasers, inspiring stories of people who have followed their dreams. I'm here with Anica that she will share her story and about her and some experiences that she had. And I'm pretty excited because it's my sixth episode. So I'm doing that actually twice a month. And I'm really happy today to hear her because she's a really close friend of mine. And I know that she went through a lot of changes and in her life, and I know some of her story, but not all. So I'm also curious to listen more. And maybe we can start. Let's
All
go
right.
for it.
Perfect.
Would you like maybe Anica to do a short presentation of yourself? I don't know, like
Sure.
whatever you feel. Even one sentence is fine.
Okay. Well, I'm Anica. I'm from Sintra. I'm 33.
Okay, for who doesn't know, it's Portugal. It's a really nice area
Portugal.
in Portugal.
Yeah. I'm half American, half Portuguese, and I've always lived in Portugal. And I used to be work as a flight attendant, and this is sort of like the subject of this live stream, which is chasing our dreams, and that's what I've been doing for the past, let's say 3 or 4 years, which is really being aligned with what I want to do in the future and in the present, which is what matters. And I don't really know what else I can say. I'm a Libra.
But actually,
that's
why maybe before
really,
you were a flight attendant.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you were
there's
really in there.
a lot of air. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm really happy that you're doing this for real. Yeah, I'm really happy that you're doing this. I'm very proud of you with this project.
Actually, my main purpose some of people know already, is that it's because many times in my life I've been really lost, and I was trying to follow my passion, or to try to do in my life what truly mattered for me. And what really helped me sometimes when I was feeling totally lost and really out of track, it was hearing the stories of other people that, even if they were having some challenges and difficulties during their path, they were keep going, and they were going for what really mattered for them, and to create the reality that they were dreaming. So that's why I'm doing this, for try to bring some inspiration to others, as well as it was for me when I heard some stories. And we can go with our first question.
Okay.
Are you ready, Anica?
I'm ready.
So, what inspired you in your transition from being a flight attendant to pursue your new path?
Okay. So I was kind of miserable in my job. No, I'm just kidding. I loved it in the beginning, but it started to become a little bit hard. And during the pandemic, this is kind of like the wah story. During the pandemic, we all had a time to sort of recover, sleep, in my case, sleep, rest, and do what I love doing, which is practicing yoga and meditation. And I literally had like a moment of clairvoyance while I was doing a yoga retreat with you, actually. So
Yes.
Going ahead in time, I'm traveling again. I'm working as a flight attendant again. Very hectic times. As we all know, traveling is stressful, and it's especially stressful for people that fly as a job. So my circadian rivers were totally out of whack, and I wasn't eating healthily. And a lot of people that watch the live will probably know, because a flight attendant or something, it's not the healthiest job in the world. It's got a lot of perks. You make a lot of money, you travel a lot, you meet a lot of cool people, but you can do that doing other things as well. So I realized the teacher training where Ale and I met a couple of years ago that I just wasn't happy. We were singing mantras to Kali, the goddess of destruction. And I decided to sing like a couple of tones, a little bit more like high pitched. And I just started crying. I just had like a moment of, I hate this life. Like I hate my job. And it was so simple as the next day I sent an email to human resources saying, like, I give you 2 more months of work and that. Okay.
Cicciolina, sorry, it's the dog. Come here.
We have a third element here.
You can
And
go now, Anica,
yeah, I was just unhappy. It's as simple as that. I was unhappy. Luckily, I had a financial situation that could support me for a bit. So I started working as a yoga teacher and I was liking it. It was super hard in the beginning. But yeah, basically answering your question, just being unhappy, unaligned, and feeling like, you know, when you eat something and it doesn't have salt, like my life didn't have salt. It didn't have like spirit. So there were a lot of fun things in that job and I met a lot of amazing people. But ultimately, I wasn't using, I think, my full potential, my brains, and I didn't have the right energy to do what I wanted to do.
Did you feel how it's not to have space for creativity and for like being in like autopilot mode?
Yeah, I was in autopilot mode. I was totally waking up and just feeling miserable. I didn't like putting on my uniform, so I started to try to do things differently, and it still didn't work. So I thought, you know, yeah. So this was a bit before the teacher training. Then during the teacher training, it was like the moment of awakening.
Probably was like the last drop. In Italian, we have an expression that is la goccia che fa traboccare il vaso. I don't know in English how it is, but it's like the last drop that make all the glass full and coming out the water.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And the funny thing was that during the pandemic, I even thought about quitting. I even shaved my head. And then they called me back. So I bought a wig. So, I mean, I tried to do everything against what my body was saying, which ultimately it has to do with listening to my own body, which is...
It was giving you signs.
It was giving me signs. I was unhealthy because I was just up here, like money, 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 money. Traveling, you know, just the perks of the job. Because everybody kept asking me, you know, you can't quit your job. That's ridiculous. And still nowadays, I have friends that are like, but is your life better than it? People that still work in the aviation industry. And I was like, yes, it's so much better now. I'm so much happier. I don't make them the same amount of money, but I will someday, or even more. You know, more, more. That's what we want. We want more and better and being happier. So, yeah, I would say unaligned is a good word to answer that question.
And also, I mean, between health and happiness, maybe it's better a bit less money, but be more healthy and happy.
Yes, of course. We live in a very eluded society, so let's put it that way. I really admire my friends that do that job, but everybody has a different life and a different mindset, so everything's valid.
And I think, you know, the important thing is that everyone does what is aligned. Like, I mean, it can be, you know, that a person loves the job that you were doing, being a flight attendant, so it's really right for this person to do it. But if you don't, that's the fact.
No, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Ultimately, I got to visit a lot of beautiful countries that I wouldn't have if I hadn't picked that path. So I'm very grateful. But yeah, it was just a different path. It's all part of life, so experiencing different things.
Yes, and can you share some of the key learnings and experience from your time in Asia? Because you were traveling in Asia last year. Mm-hmm. So if you could share a little bit of your experience, your
last year,
whatever you feel that is something that for you is valuable to share.
So
valuable.
Valuable.
In English?
Valuable.
Really good.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I wanted to study massage therapies and qigong, which is what I transited from yoga to qigong because I was interested in the Taoism philosophy and the Taoist philosophy. So I decided to practice during the pandemic and later, and I still do, and I love it. But I ultimately wanted to study the body a little bit more, and I love giving massages, so I thought, why not? And the reason why I went to Asia. I needed to have a reason to get out of my comfort zone and take that heavy backpack
because
with
it was
me.
your first traveling outside Europe. I know.
Yeah, it was my first time traveling so far away, and yeah, just far away is a good word, like far away from my family, and it's something I always wanted to do. And the airline didn't go to Asia, so I wanted to go to Asia ultimately. And so I thought I may as well go and study, do a training. I thought it would be a good investment. And so I decided to go to Vietnam and then to Thailand, Vietnam to do a Qigong training in Hue, in a little town, like it used to be the capital of Vietnam. And then to Thailand, to Chiang Mai to study massage therapies, because a lot of really good massage therapists live there, and a lot of the philosophy behind the holistic way of approaching the body, it comes from there. So I didn't want to study Thai therapy, specifically the Thai massage, but reflexology, so foot massages, and Chinetsang, which is a very specific massage in the stomach area where you end up touching a lot of meridians, and it's where everything starts, the belly button. So it's a very magical area of the body. And yeah, I didn't love the trainings. I mean, I loved the training in Vietnam. I thought it was amazing. I met a lot of cool people. I did it with the White Tiger Qigong, which is a very cool school. And I loved being in Vietnam. I was there for a month.
I've never been in Vietnam, actually.
It's an amazing country where not a lot of people speak. I mean, not a lot of people maybe older than us speak English, so I felt very disconnected, which was amazing. You end up having to you have to try to communicate in different ways, which was interesting. And I was very humbled by a lot of the people there that were very unassuming and very helpful and very just genuinely sweet, that wanted to help. I was invited to eat at people's houses. And this is a lot of stories that you hear about that country specifically. People are just super, super nice. And then Thailand was amazing. I arrived there the first day of Songkran, which is the festival of the water. So everybody gets you completely, hosed down with water. And I felt like I was getting cleansed. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I had a lot of funny stories. I went to situations where things could have gone really badly, but I felt really protected. And I'm at the airport, leaving to go to Asia, and I'm like, yes, this feels so right, and it's amazing. And why didn't I do this before? So I bet you have the same kind of stories going to India. And yeah. So what we were talking about, an hour ago about traveling and getting out of our comfort zone, and about feeling unsafe. And I never felt unsafe. I always felt like I was trusting my gut. And so
yeah, actually, I really feel that, especially when it's traveling alone as women outside Europe, there is a lot of stereotypes about the fact that it's dangerous and whatever. And I can also share that I've been traveling many times alone, and I never felt unsafe. Literally, she's trying to kiss me. So I never felt unsafe. Also because I think what we believe and we think we project it in our reality and outside the world. So because I always felt that she wanna go, that everything would have go right. I never had those kind of uncomfy or dangerous situation, maybe because I never create them inside my mind, so they never happen to the outside world. But yes, so I totally feel you when you say that.
Yeah.
Actually, at the beginning when you go, you are like, maybe this will go wrong and that will go wrong, and then when you're there, if you trust your intuition and you are kind of guided by your intuition, everything will flow and goes all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit poetic, but you're in your body, so you're already home. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. And I had already traveled. I mean, when I traveled with the crew, you are by yourself. You do. I did leave. I did go to countries where sometimes they're very unsafe, like Brazil, and nothing ever happened to me. But I didn't put myself in situations where I would be unsafe as well.
Of course, so it's good always to have a bit of precaution. Like,
yeah, be aware.
Just to be aware, and also to feel if you are in a situation that you feel there is some red flags, to be able also, to leave the situation in the right moment.
Yeah, and it created a lot of funny situations where you end up having to trust people you never met. So I think that's a nice metaphor for life, which is surrendering to the universe and the process, and trusting your gut, trusting you're able to read the energy in a room where you sometimes don't feel comfortable. Usually that's a bad sign.
Yeah, I think your body and your gut feeling is always telling you.
Yeah.
Things, if you are able to listen, when you can be comfy in a situation and when is the time to leave.
Yeah, and for instance, I felt like I did a lot of body work because I was in Vietnam for a month and I did the 2 weeks training. So my body was I had listened to the body for a very long time. So it was perfect.
And how was your experience with the Thai massage course? Because you were sharing about reflexology.
It's not the traditional Thai massage.
Okay.
That's not what I do. I do reflexology and Chinetsang. So Chinetsang is the stomach massage that starts in the belly button and you really go deep down into the meridians. And then I ended up marrying it with a lot of other information that I already knew from traditional Chinese massage, because as a flight attendant, I spent a lot of money on my health. So I would go to acupuncturists and to osteopaths, and you end up learning things if you're interested.
And do you think the fact that when you were life attendant, you were experiencing a lot of healings and holistic...
You said life attendant.
That's funny.
That's a Freudian slip. Life attendant. Yeah, flight attendant. Yeah.
Sorry. And do you think that because you spent a lot of time like having healings and holistic things to do to yourself when you were flight attendants, you start from there to see the benefits of it and totally felt like it's what I want to do?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, nowadays my clients are flight attendants. Because I can speak their language and I know all of the areas of the body that needs, the head especially needs a lot of healing, a lot of stress in the head and the feet as well. So like the endpoints. But what I do mainly is myofascial release that I didn't even learn in Asia. I learned later when I came back to Portugal. So yeah, the biggest challenge was coming back. Coming back to Portugal was a challenge. But yeah.
And we were speaking about challenges. So which challenges did you encounter during your journey? And how do you feel that you overcome them? How did you deal with them?
Okay, that's a good question. What challenges did I have when I was traveling?
I feel like when you were traveling, during your journey to become a massage therapist and
okay. Yeah. I think
to create this new reality.
I think it had to do with money. So very simple, very basic, but very important. Just realizing that I was making less money than I was as a flight attendant, and having to work through my own insecurities around money, scarcity versus abundance, and also my own like creative knowledge, which is always there and it's accessible. But yeah, I had to do a lot of inner work, therapies, going to a psychologist, which I advise everybody to do, a coach, which is what you do, yoga classes, which is therapy in itself. So never forgetting your own practice, your personal practice. And yeah, also plant medicine journeys helped me a lot, for sure, which is also in itself a very big challenge. And you only do it if you really feel prepared to do it. So like in your guts, you always go back to your belly button. Like if you feel like you should do it. I decided to do it, and I did it a year ago. So it's like it's a birthday right now of my first ayahuasca trip, which was worth it. I don't think I would have bought the ticket to Asia if I had not done it, because I did it.
Okay.
I did it in January.
So it was a turning point
Yeah,
for you.
it was like okay, go. It was like go, like you can do it. And yeah, it's helped me a lot. I don't think it's for everyone. I think there are so many other therapies that you can do, but it helped. Yeah.
That's an interesting share, because it's something that I've never done, and I'm actually getting curious about recently. So that's interesting that you're sharing it right now. And how do you incorporate the holistic approach in your massages,
Okay.
in your
I think
therapies,
most massages,
in your therapies in general?
yeah, I think most massages ideally should be holistic, but this is my opinion, personal opinion, because I believe holistic, right, means everything, means the emotional, the physical aspect, the spiritual aspect, and the psychological aspect. I can't forget the psychological aspect. I believe that it's so important to listen to our bodies, and so the kind of approach that I have is listening to everything, listening to the body, waiting, not expecting anything, because the myofascial release is very a meditative massage. But then I also add other things, oils as well. So basically using a lot of our senses as well. Sometimes we forget the senses, smelling, listening, so music as well. I also do sound healing, which is something I absolutely love. And we are all we are all very auditive beings. So just closing the eyes, which is something that we do the most, and it holds 70% of the information is of our attention is actually through the eyes. So if you close your eyes, you start using all of the other senses so much more, almost like you're a blind person, right? You have to tweak other things, so you start listening to other things.
Because we are actually really visual.
We're very visual.
I am really
we're
visual.
We're almost too visual.
I am really visual. Yes.
So when you start listening to so as a client, but also as a masseuse, when you start listening, just listening to sounds, listening to the breath, but also the scents, so the smells of things, you start noticing other things from the body as well, because I believe that also the whole system is so complex, but it's also so simple, that we just need to feel really safe in the body, and we just need to release a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's normal for people to cry, or to, yeah, I would say crying is probably the most usual thing that happens. I don't have anybody screaming during a massage, yelling, but there's always a first time for everything.
Yeah, and you were sharing before that, so yeah, it's really important for you, the breath, the meditative state during your therapies. And I feel that is something,
because whenever the therapist is relaxed, focused on their own breath, focused on, and this is like a metaphor, whenever you're focused on yourself and you start noticing, like, am I nervous? Did I eat? Am I resting? Just to be a good professional, right? You start being better at what you do. You start hearing better the other person. And this was one of the things that my teacher taught us, is just to listen to your own body first. Be comfortable, not use too much of your weight. But this is specific to the kind of massage that I do. And just enjoying the moment, relaxing, not expecting anything, not wanting to find a problem.
Of course, if you're centered with your energy and connecting with yourself, is different the space where you're coming from to actually being able to heal others, because first you need to be centered and good with yourself and present to be able to hold space for others. So
yeah, for really sure. And a lot more healing happens when you're not expecting anything to happen.
Could you share any valuable insights that you had during your journey, your travels, during your healings, whatever you feel that is something that you learned, that you feel like this is something that I can share to others, that I feel it's something important?
Yes, I would say, well, there's so many, but I would say surrendering to the process, believing in yourself, believing in your capacity of being at peace, which is so much more important than just being happy, is being peaceful. And trusting other people as well, which was something I believe was hard when I was traveling. Well, I was by myself, so I started to feel everything. I started realizing that I'm very what's the word? It's not insecure. It's I can only remember the word in Portuguese. Desconfiada, suspicious of people, like So desconfiada.
Desconfiada is like that you don't
untrusting.
Yeah, that you are
untrusting.
Like I think
like you have a barrier, between yourself and people. So this creates judgments. It creates just believing that you're so different from other people. And then when I started, through my own experiences, realizing that people are nice and most of them don't have bad intentions, that's when the magic starts happening.
Yes, I think when we are coming from a space of empathy to the others, and we are opening ourselves to other people, the other people feel also it, and because they're feeling it, they are even more kind and more nice with us, because at the end our energy speaks more than anything else. So even though you don't use, maybe it can be that you don't use like rough or rude words, or you don't do rude action, but still, if inside yourself you have some thoughts that they are not nice ones, I think energy speaks, so people feel it as well. So.
Yes, it's easy to read sometimes. That certain people can read it easier than others.
But also that's why probably if you're coming with that trust, the people then are even nicer with you.
Yeah, I already knew it was an issue I needed to work, because when I did my ayahuasca journey, I'm like that person that's always touching that subject, but when it was one of the hardest things I ever did, so
I can imagine. I'm going to mention it. I can feel that it's an intense experience.
Yeah, I mean, I went through probably the hardest experience that I've ever had was losing my mother, and then the ayahuasca trip was one of the hardest things, because you need to release a lot of baggage, you need to release a lot of fears, a lot of things. And at the time, I thought that my issue was grief. And it was.
But do you mean grief because of the loss of your mom, or grief for other things in general?
Yeah, I didn't have my intention that well defined, but
it was grief.
It was
you were
grief.
Feeling like grief.
It was sadness. So wanting to I realized that I was very, very lonely, and I needed to open up my heart space. So that's what I picked. opening up your heart, basically, which is love is the opposite of fear. So yeah, so I believe that that really opened up a lot of other portals and realms, and it helped me in a lot of different other layers in life. So yeah, I think that kind of answers the question.
So the final answer was surrender. That's what you I think, surrender is that kind of thing that it sounds so easy to do, but then it's so hard.
It's not.
Because also I think our society pushes us to the opposite. That is always being in that action mode somehow. That just surrender, and let things be and be present in the moment. Sometimes it can be one of the biggest challenges. I'm talking about myself at least, because I'm a really active person. I'm an action person, and sometimes, being able just to chill, breathe, and let it flow, it can be more challenges than doing 1,000 things. Actually,
there's a reason why it's so difficult for people to do a yoga class and pay attention. We're always in our heads.
The beginning, when I started to practice yoga, I remember it, meditating, being sitting.
It's so hard.
5-minute meditation.
It's so hard, and I feel like when I get a person to receive a massage, it's hard as well. It's as hard because people are still in the head, and people don't know how to receive. We don't know how to receive. We know how to give. Sometimes it's not even from like a real place. We're just giving, but we don't know how to receive. And just receiving a massage with open arms and trusting people is a metaphor to like doing a plant medicine journey, or going down a roller coaster. Going down a roller coaster is one of the scariest things you can do, and it's important to do it once in a while, because it's life. Life is all about living and being happy, and or not, just living life. So ultimately doing things and being, not doing things, being.
Just be.
Just being. Yeah.
Also, Chichen is receiving massage right now. Oh, she's looking because
She is at the spa right now.
Yeah, because I'm massaging her.
a live pedicure.
Yes.
Pedicure live massage.
Yes.
Oh.
She's appreciating. Yes. And yeah, thank you so much, Anica, for your sharing.
Thank you.
I'm really happy to hear and be here with you. And I feel we are complete. I don't know if you would like to add something, or if we are complete, we can wrap it up.
I don't think there's really that much to add. I mean, there's always things to add, but I believe that I basically touched all the topics I wanted to talk about.
So we are complete.
Yeah, we are complete. Full circle.
Full circle. So thank you so much to listen to us, and for who were here with us.
Yeah, thank you.
During this time. Also for who come and go out, etc. So this episode will be uploaded in YouTube. I always upload the episode in Dream Chaser in my YouTube channel, and then I will share the link in my bio, in my Instagram profile. So if you want to listen the full talk, it's always available there. And also the previous one that I had with some other amazing people that were with me sharing their stories. And
I'll share it in mine as well.
Yes.
This was supposed to be we were supposed to be talking from different computers, but yeah, anyway, I'll share it in mine as well.
Yes. And thank you so much for your presence. And
yes, thank you for the one person that maybe stayed here the whole talk.
Yeah,
but yeah, thank you for your
say hello.
Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, I need to. It's really hard to close. How I end this? And now.